Hello artisans, welcome back to this channel. This is Rochelle Rosenberg again. Today we're just gonna have to paint digitally thanks to Piximperfect. You can check out his channel and he is great in every tutorial about Photoshop. Here you can see that I have already a well-prepared drawing. I've already drawn his basic lines of his face and all his features, so I'm just gonna make some simple skin effects, and I'm just gonna color all the way from the basic to the shadows until to the finished picture. Now we're just gonna use the Lasso tool. You can see it on the left, and using the basic lines that he have, I actually use the Lasso tool to color the skin, the face and the neck with a basic color. And if you have seen the reference picture, his color is a little bit dark, but I'm gonna color it the way I perceived it. And from here we're gonna start with all the basic painting techniques that I usually do, even in painting a canvas, and that is to put on the basic colors. So here I have to make a basic dark color and a little bit of light color on his skin, so that I could show you some details later. And as you can see on the right corner, there are different layers that I have made there. I've put a name on every layer. For example, with this one, there's a face and neck basic layer, and then I have the hair layer, because in doing this, in creating different kinds of layers, you can actually adjust some major details afterwards, or if there's something wrong actually in every details that you are doing, then you can actually delete these kinds of layers without affecting the rest of the picture. So always think about how you create your digital drawing. And as for me, I draw his face manually with a basic pen, and I'm actually using an Art Master pad connected to my PC. And the drawing sketch that I do is just actually like drawing on a sketch pad paper. Since this is digital, it's a little bit more easier to draw, because on Photoshop I can actually color the whole parts of the image by using the magic Lasso tool. And you can see it as well here. While I draw his eyebrows, I could hold the shift key so that I can take or select the both of the eyebrows without any problem, and then transfer to the pen and grab some color and just paint over them. So now we're just gonna do the basic, as I have said in the beginning of the video. We're just gonna establish the basic colors, and as for this, I'm going to just use the Lasso tool mostly, and just to color the basic, like the eyes. Basic is black, the foreground color. So my techniques in drawing or in painting is almost the same like the way I do in painting a canvas. I always do the foreground color, and since the foreground color of the hair, the clothes, the eyes, the eyebrows is black, so I want that foreground will be my guide later when I'm gonna add some shadows and small details and preferably some changes as well. So notice how I actually color like the eyes, and how I put the little bit of shadows on the under the eyes or the side of the nose, and then around that eyes you can see that it's kind of little bit rough shadowing or shading. It's because, as I have said, I am actually painting like I am doing on a sketch pad. Now we're gonna establish on the eyes the colors of the eyes that we have seen in his picture. His picture, I actually checked it by pixels and I zoomed it very well. So his basic eye color is, in my understanding, is brown. So now I just have to cover up the black one that I did before with brown, and then put up the pupil black in the middle, and then just establish those reflecting lights in his eyes. And since the foreground color is brown on the layer, and I just lessen it with the opacity and even the fill, so that he will not be orange in color. You can see that as well in the foreground of the eyes, the white part outside the pupil, and the eyeball is actually not white when you are painting them. So I use a little bit of gray, and you can see that I'm just using an ordinary pen, and then going around and observing from the picture reference, coloring again with the red on every side, like the flesh of the eyes, you know, the mucus part of the eyes. So it's very important that when you are painting, you should recognize the anatomy of the face, the anatomy of the eyes, the basic color of, for example, the eyes and the face when you are painting. Because sometimes we perceive things like the lips maybe are truly red, but actually when you take a picture of your lips and then take a look close on your lips, it's actually not really red. Sometimes you can see a little bit of violet, and it's the same with the eyes. So now it's a little bit fast forward with this picture, so you can see already some small changes. And if you wonder how I did the eyebrow there, I actually painted them with a brush in a size pen of 1, and then dark black, I painted them manually using my art pen on the Art Master 3 or 2, I think. I don't even remember the name model of my Art Master pad. But sometimes I usually use the mouse as well just to paint. And since portrait is one of my favorite artwork, so I usually take notice of how the face is structured and where the shadows are coming from, how the light is affecting the face. Now you can see also that he have this beard. It's a kind of shade, I think he shaved it a little bit, but there's still the shadows of the small hairs. So I try to create the foreground color as a lighter black. So I'm just lessening the opacity and the fill so that I could still see those sketches behind under the nose. And here you can see that I have different types of pen. I actually have like a brush pen that is made of like hair or something. But I tried it from the last part. I just remove it from this video. So I think I'm gonna try to paint them manually later on whenever I'm gonna finish the details. So for now, we're just gonna go through the basic informations that we see on his mustache and on his beard. There are actually darker tones, and there are some hairs that are a little bit lighter. You can see it. The darker ones are more kind of seen because they are actually under the shadows, and the lighter ones are also seen because of his skin tone. Right. Now we can see a lot of changes happening here. So as you can see, don't be confused. I'm actually checking out different kinds of brush strokes on how I can deal with the hair strokes, because I am very much focused on the details of the hair strokes. I want them to be seen that they are there actually, not just a foreground color of light gray. I want that the picture that will be finished from here is very special. I want it to look a little bit more signatured in my own techniques and in my own style. So you can see that I've been switching from brush to different sorts of pen and brush and different kinds of strokes, as you see on the picture. And finally, I found the best ones that I do, and that was the manual that I did. It was actually on pen brush size 1 and then 2. So now on a closer look, you can see that I'm painting them manually. This takes a lot of time and patience, and that is the goal of painting. It actually divert your mind from busy things that happen to you in a whole day, and when you sit down and draw or sketch and paint, all of those emotions actually are not really going away, but they are fading from you, and you actually help your body to have a better flow in your mind, and even your blood circulation will become a little bit more better, and your breathing and your heart rate will have a better flow within your body, and your heartbeat rate will be a little bit more normal than when you are angry. Because once you are angry, your heartbeat rate will be higher, your focus will be distorted, and your mind will be actually, how do you say, you'll be a little bit more out of your mind. That's why they usually say, are you out of your mind? And that's probably true somehow, in my opinion. Okay, now we're focusing a little bit in different parts of the faces, like some shadows of the ear. We're just gonna refine the lines from the ear to show that the ear is actually there and that the shadows should be seen. These are like some major details on the face that we have to be concerned about whenever we're drawing. You don't need to do like me. I'm very meticulous. I don't want it to be as perfect as the picture shows, but I want that the picture would look as much as close to the original one. Now we're actually making some shadows here. And as you can see, there are different sorts of colors of shadows. If you look at the reference, there's this kind of cast shadows and the dark tones. The values of the face are actually different from one another depending on the lights. So on the side, it's a little bit dark, and then over the top of the of his head, his forehead is a little bit more pinkish and lighter brown for me. And right there around his eyes, those are like the darker shadows. So that is where you have to be observant about doing or doing the shading. You have to be concerned about the position of the light. You can see that on his forehead, the light is stronger on the left part of his forehead, going to the top of the nose, and then to the left part of his face on the cheeks. You can see that the white bright light is very strong there. And on the left, or on the right, I think, on the right, and that is, there's a white light spot there. There's a white spotlight over there, and you can see that there's a reflection of the light over the ear as well. So those are actually one of the concerns that I'm doing in this painting, and we're just gonna have to put on manually the small hair strokes of his beard on the face. You can see it's very time consuming. Just this part actually took me like 1 hour to fulfill, because there are hairs that are scattered on his chin, apart from the groupings of the beard and the mustache, you know. So as I'm saying, I'm very, very meticulous on this one. And I'm very concerned about the layers as well. On the right side, you can see that I have different layers on every movements that I do, because if there are something wrong in the picture, I could actually just delete the whole layer, and it will not affect other actions that I did. And I just hope that Unmesh Dinda will actually not be hysterical when he see this video. Actually, I'm just a painter and also a fine art photographer. So some parts of my learning actually, or tricks, I got from him, and I use them in painting. Some of like the Lasso tool. Actually, I didn't know that I could actually fill a whole area by the Lasso tool before, or like I've done it, but it was not something that is registered in my mind, not until I saw Piximperfect tutorials that, oh, this Lasso tool, you can actually fill this blah blah blah, and you know, that's how I learned. But within the drawing, I usually paint manually on Photoshop. So it saves a lot of time whenever you use the Lasso tool actually. And you can see there, I put on the Lasso tool and just go on to the part that I want to cover, and then hold the shift key on your windows and then fill it. Once it's filled, and perfect. So now I think we're almost close to the perfection of the picture, and we're just gonna have to color now the t-shirt. His t-shirt is red. You see, it saves a lot of time. I like this Lasso. Lasso tool is the magic of my foreground. Think if I have that lasso tool on the canvas, it would make my painting easier, but the truth is it's not like that. My lasso tool is my hand manually on my canvas. Yeah, that's how it is. Okay, so from time to time I actually check the picture and check if there are things that I have to consider in the details. Did I include some of the things that I wanted to be included in there? Now I think that I just have to add a little bit of more details. Probably now I think we're gonna start with the hair. Or no, I think I have to retouch the eyebrow first. Now we're painting again the eyebrow manually. And the way I do it is from down upwards. That's how I paint them manually. So I'm considering the hair strokes, because if you check your own eyebrow, the hair stroke is like much more thicker from the roots going to the end. So that's how I paint them manually. And then I am also painting like the scattered hair. If you check your own eyebrow, there's the eyebrow line, but then outside those lines are like those small scattered hair strand that you have to consider. So you can see it's this is also a time consuming if you are a meticulous person like me. If you love small details on every picture, then probably this kind of techniques is very, very great for you to learn. So I'm very observant on every picture and on every details of the face anatomy. I always check how is the hair going to from the roots to the end, and how are they even compacted from one group to another. That's the signature that makes him look very Piximperfect. Now we're just going through the shadows of the hair, and here you can see that my brush is actually a hair strand brush. It's made so for that particular information. So I went through the darkest part of the hair first before going to the highlights. So here I'm again very meticulous on every information and following how the hair are growing, since he actually have much more hair on the top of his head and he's just got very like short hair on the sides. So I'm trying as well to be creative here, and then imagining those parts on the top of the head where there are like strong shadows. So you can see that I'm switching from the brush and from the foreground colors of the black and white, because here I don't need to be worrying about the different types of colors. I just have to be worried I just have to be concerned about the highlights of the black and the white. So the white is my highlight and the black is like my measuring ground. I can actually manipulate like different kinds of dark colors. Actually, when you're painting a hair, it's not just because you see that they're black means that everything is black. There are different shades of colors when you paint as well. And as you can see here, now I am refining the hair strands with the white paint so that we can see where the light is reflecting on the picture. So if you look at the picture on the top of the head, it's like I think that the lamp probably is like on the right side of his face. And the light is like having some reflections even through the head. So I have to paint them very, very well, and I want that the hair strand is seen. That's the important part. So while I'm thinking how to go around with the hair, I have to go again and refine the shadows on the eyes and refine the details of the eyes so that we can see it much more clearly. Using the manual brush, the ordinary soft brush, I am refining the lights, the reflection lights, and then making some details more be seen, changing a little bit of the lips color, refining it so that we're gonna complete the detail. Yeah, I got it. I don't know, I think it's best with the pink. I don't have any other color to include in this detail, but I like it though. That's how I want it. It's just like the song, I want it that way. I'm just kidding, guys. But now we're just gonna have to shade those gums a little bit so that we can see that they are also there. His teeth is actually white, really white. Now we're just gonna put on some shadings, or no, the highlights over his lips to reflect that the light is shining over the lips. And then a little bit of highlights on the face where the light is shining a lot. Now you can see the changes. Now it's huge changes from the last time. And then here on the right image, we're just gonna refine where the light is bouncing. And a little bit of shadows on the clothes to refine the dark shadows of the clothes, just to recognize where the shadows are coming from. Because you see that on his right, on the right part of the picture, there's like a light there as well, but it's not as strong as the one on the left part of the picture. So that is like a bouncing light over there, and we're just gonna have to redefine those dark shadows first so that we can recognize most of the details of this picture. Right, so now we've almost come to the end of this video, and I just hope that you enjoyed every tutorial that I did just for this digital drawing. And I really like the outcome of the picture in the end, because it really showed my techniques and the way I perceived the image. I actually like the features of the eyes and the mouth, and how the values are, for me, equally shaded. And I hope that you also enjoyed every step or process that I did, because this is the purpose why I actually screen recorded the whole image of my Photoshop. And if you have any suggestions on or tips about using Photoshop, maybe you can write it on the comment below. If you have any suggestions on who are we going to draw next, so please write it also down below the comment box. And if you are new to this channel, don't ever forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll enjoy every bits of art. So I hope to see you again on my next video. So for now, I just want to greet you a happy weekend and enjoy your day.